Definitiva. Okay, fixed. I didn't even start the stream and there's someone already. A pony writing in my chat. You can't see it actually. Need to change the chat because that's the old one. And of course he or she has a private profile picture. That's how you know you're dealing with a phone. Anyways, let's let them cry. Seed, coke, mold, whatever you call it. While we are going to obliterate this bald guy over here. So I've seen this on Twitter. I've seen only clips of it. where he had pretty bad takes, and I was like, God damn it, I'm going to stream my reaction to it, because what this guy is about is like, it's just laughable, absolutely laughable. So hope the audio is good.
Alright everybody, welcome back to another XBald Gaming video. XBald here, and yes, today we got another episode of the Salty Batch Files, and boy can I tell you, in between the Sony business reports and the state of play, we have a ton of salty fanboys out there, and so much content. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump to it.
Don't get these intros.
Alright,
I don't
like I was
need
saying, what we're going to
intro.
do is go over these
Like,
salty
imagine,
examples on the Salty Batch Files.
Imagine if one of my clips there was like a small segment and I put an intro to it, and then the rest of the clip plays. That's just, I don't know, this modern shit. Maybe I'm boomer, or I don't know, but yeah.
Here, and there's just so much content, like I just mentioned, right? There's so much content from these
So
guys right
much
now, between
content,
the Sony
so
business
much.
reports
He always
and
says that,
of
by the
course
way.
the state of play.
Also, what the fuck is this shy GIF? I was going to say jive, no, it's GIF.
Essentially, I have so much content I can't even fit it into 2 episodes, but I don't want to oversaturate the Salty Batch Files. I don't want to do anything like that, or increase your sodium intake, if you will. But let's.
Yeah, I'm not going to. Because I already know what to expect.
Let's start off. Let's keep going here right now. But just wanted to let you know there's just going to be lots of drip and stuff going. But Gaz here. Boy, Gaz and Colt, they've been on one recently, and they think they're on something. I don't know what, but here we are. LOL better be the best 30 minutes ever in regards to PlayStation announcing their state of play.
And was it? Was it? Was it? Answer me this. Was it? Like, the only 2 games that were actually pretty good are Until Dawn and Monster Hunter Wilds. The rest were pretty disappointing. Maybe Concord was yeah. Silent Hill. If you like Silent Hill 2, I think you like the remake, but I don't know, I just didn't see too much appeal. But overall, it was basically just, it was state of play in PC pretty much. Only one exclusive game, and that's going to come to PC also, like years later, maybe.
It better be the best 30 minutes ever. Why? Coming from you? What has Xbox ever offered that's been the best 30 minutes ever? We're still waiting.
I mean, last year the Xbox showcase was pretty much a lot better than the PlayStation showcase that year, and they showed gameplay, actual gameplay also. Although they improved this time, because state of play actually had a lot of gameplay, so kudos to them for actually showing gameplay for once, and not just a bunch of CGI like last year.
Waiting over 10 years for anything worth a crap to come out of the Xbox camp. Just a quick hindsight there. You're probably one of the last to speak in regards to it better be the best ever. Are we in reality here? I don't think we are. So let's continue on here because it doesn't end there, folks. Of course not. So, as you know, the shills be shilling. They get paid to go and do this and that. And Colt Eastwood making his way over there for the Xbox Showcase event, which is fine, right? All that good stuff. But, of course, you got to have that obligatory picture between Gaz and Colt themselves. And
how dare he have friends? How dare he have friends who he can hang out with? How dare he?
It's okay that Colt is a continuous liar. This is what it is, right? We just want to state like King's logic here. Damn, imagine being happy about meeting a fraud who has been exposed several times. Definitely can see why people make fun of you bots now. LOL, no integrity whatsoever. It's true. I mean, there's zero integrity. There's nothing to stand behind anything that's said, right? You clearly associate yourself in the circle of people, Gaz, and that's just the way it is. You can.
I only know like one. One situation that was so pretty bad for Colt. So, mind showing me proof where what those other frauds were? Because if you make shit up, that's not a good look for you.
Can try to blame the content that I do. You can say it's not up to snuff, it's not the best edited, this and that. I have a full-time job, I have a family, I have stuff that I have to do.
Okay. Then why are you here? Why are you here? Sucking Sonny's cock on a constant basis. If you have family, you go have go be with your family then. Or you know, you can make content with them if you want, if they want to also. Like there's like so much potential in like family content. Like you can have videos where you play with your children, or maybe a kids game, or you can play with your wife, uh, something more mature type game. You could do that, and you wouldn't have to do this low budget sort uh, quote, I can speak today, quote unquote salt.
I'm not alone. It's not just me in the picture where I have all this time on my hands to edit like you do. You do a great job editing. I will give you that 100%, so good job. However, when you associate yourself with idiots like this that are complete frauds and chills, you get what's kind of, thrown your way a little bit, right?
I mean, you also surround yourself with idiots and frauds, and uh, I'm actually going to look it up. You also blocked me on Twitter, by the way, So I need to go on out and see who you are following. Yep, you follow J-Dub, King Trash, the one who can't even do math, Porterak, who has been a retard on Twitter, talking about thousands of dollars of PC. Now J-Dub has been also retard recently. Subitek. Oh yeah, this guy, this YMNIS V2, also known as Still the You Love to Hate. Also J-Barry, the Red Dragon, who was a Xbox fanboy before Phil Spencer. I don't know, fucked his wife. I don't know what he did. He had like 180. Saltiers Gaming, who was also an Xbox fanboy before. Persona. Oh yeah, Kieran. You know Kieran? Who's that? Anyways, you know Kieran? He was the one who drinks his own cum. Also, I think the dog wants to go outside, so I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. So, we're also surrounded by idiots, so I'm surprised you don't follow the doxing doctor and the fake Japanese guy.
Let's keep going because Colt Eastwood had to reply as well because, you know, the dude blocked me first. So, of course, I block in return, but he does love.
You wanna explain yourself? And you know why he blocked me? I dared to ask him if he had proof of Alex making up stuff. And he was like, nope, bye. This guy is full of shit.
To talk behind those blocks, as you can see here. Imagine being salty while he sits at home as per usual and watches the state of play while we hang out with our friends.
Is he wrong though? Is he wrong though?
Damn right I sit at home and watch the events. I enjoy doing that on my nice big TV in my nice comfort of my own home, along with my wife, who does enjoy gaming, who does like to partake in that stuff, as well as my own son here. We're both into it. We're both major gamers. That is my initial family. That is my inner circle right now. And yes.
And do you go outside to touch grass at least once? Maybe you should.
Yes, I do have friends, and we were texting a little bit back and forth as that went on. However, don't know what you're trying to prove here, buddy, because I feel like I kind of have it better off. I'd rather have a wife, a family, a son, and all that stuff that's super into the gaming like I am. But to each their own. Not quite the burn you thought it was going to be there, but just wanted to share that here. Now, let's shift our focus for a minute here over to journalism. All right? We all might know Paul Tassi.
Here we go.
Paul Tassi's from a certain journalist area here, and he quotes, in quote, "Have you enjoyed playing this game on PC? How would you like to play the next one by spending $500 on a piece of hardware that's worse than what you just played it on?" In regards to like what Tom Warren is stating here, and we'll get to Tom Warren again in a moment, but Herman Holst, soon to be...
I mean, he's not wrong for making fun of it, because, you know, if people could play PlayStation games on PC, why would they buy a console? Why would they buy a console? And even then, Herman Holst said, "Oh, we put our games on PC because we want PC players to come to our console for the sequels." Years later, sequel comes to PC. So, what's the point of the strategy again?
Co-CEO of Sony's PlayStation business addresses day one PC releases. Live service games will come day and date on PS5 and PC, but single-player narrative games on PC are designed to then entice PC owners to play sequels and so on and so forth on the PlayStation platform. So
Which
Paul's
is
a
not
little
going to
upset
happen.
here with the fact that he doesn't agree with that. He's upset that PlayStation is still valuing the ecosystem and what it means to have exclusives to that ecosystem,
which are going to PC anyways. So, your point being, like, I'm not going to buy a PS5 just for the exclusives. Do you think I bought a Switch for its exclusives? I have a Switch here. You can hear me pressing every button, moving no stick of it. Do you think I bought this for Super Mario or Zelda? Let me check what I have here. Oh, I have Ultra Street Fighter 2. That's an exclusive, sure. But that's not the reason I bought it. 2 Point Campus. Available pretty much on every platform. let's see here. Mega Man X Legacy Collection. Mega Man Legacy Collection. Taiko no Tatsuin, and that's exclusive, sure. But it's not first party. Weary 4. Oh, look at that! For the first Nintendo first party that I found. Splatoon 3. Yeah, Apex Legends available everywhere. Sky Children of Light also available everywhere. Eleanor, Suikoden, that's on PC too, but it's a shittier version. Fortnite, Yu-Gi-Oh, everywhere, available everywhere. Ah, I can't speak. Mortal Kombat 11 also available on every platform. Palia, it was on PC first. Four Guys, Rocket League. Look at that, another Nintendo first party. Splatoon 2. And that's all I have Nintendo first party, by the way. Then I have eBaseball Power Bros, which is on PlayStation also. VRC8 also available on other platforms. Gear Club Unlimited, which was the Switch port of a mobile game called Gear Club. 2-Point Hospital, Virtua Racing, that was a retro game. That was it was an arcade game that was ported to the Switch. Yeah, I have the 99 games, 299 games. I have that are exclusive to Nintendo, and I guess yeah, those are first party also, yeah. But yeah, not a lot of Nintendo games that I own. I bought this for portability, not exclusives.
Said exclusives, high quality exclusives equals more sales equals a more loyal fan base. I know they can't understand that. They can't wrap their
High quality exclusives that are higher quality on PC. You can throw around exceptions, but I guess Sony doesn't really have clue who they are dealing with at times. But Nix quality ports. Like kudos. Um, so those ports are really good on PC.
small pea brains around that, but here we are. Very upset about that, Paul. Way to show your non biasness as
Who's upset? We're just pointing out the stupidity.
per usual. In the journalism field, this again is why you get tomatoes and shit thrown your way. Simple as that. Let's keep going, folks. We're not done there. Another journalist, Jez, as you can see here, they're just hurting their sales by not utilizing the marketing push to its full potential. They'll backtrack on this too eventually, like the rest of it.
I mean, is he wrong? And like cannibalizing sales because the PC port comes later, they don't get to sell that much on PC because they don't even market it that well, by the way. You know, Helldivers 2 basically proved that because that was day and date, and most of the copies were from PC and not PlayStation.
And again, regards to not announcing day and date PlayStation first party single player games. You don't know what you're talking about, as you've shown multiple times, Jez. They are not hurting their sales. They're doing just fine. PC.
Are they? I mean, I don't know because some of the games could do better. Could do better. Like if you've seen like some of the other games like multi-platform games, they sell more copies than exclusives do when they come to PC. So if you think that that's them not hurting, I don't know, buddy.
PC fanboys are first and foremost want to be on the front end to state that we don't need those day one. We can wait. It's not a big deal. We can wait. But then it's
Yep.
okay. It's not okay because now they're upset.
Who's upset? Who's upset? Like I said, we just point out the hypocrisy or the stupidity, I should say, because day and date is happening already. Live service games, okay, not single player games, although some throw around Until Dawn, but that's a remake. That's like that doesn't count, and I'm tired of people saying that it counts. It doesn't count because that was a PS4 game. Then um, they are remaking it and porting it to PC. That's not the end date.
That they're not day and date. So pick a lane, stay in it. Is it okay that you guys can wait because you've been so patient? You're the most patient folks out there, right? You can wait for those games to drop
Yep.
1 to 2+ years later. Or do you need those day and date? Let me know. And I know Jez isn't a PC elitist. He's more of an Xbox guy, but in regards to the PC side, we'll possibly get to that here. But let's keep going. So finally, Tom Warren, of course, has to throw in his salt as well. Be right back, trading in my RTX 4090 PC for a PS5 Pro so I can play The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. Okay, sure thing, buddy. So again, it's already been data found that not every PC player is up to snuff with an RTX 4090.
And your point being? Tom Warren probably has an RTX 4090, and if he traded in his PC for a PS5 Pro, he would get a worse experience, bro. Like, how can you not understand that? I don't have a good PC. can run some games pretty okay, I think. 30 FPS at best. But you know, it's not going to make me buy a PS5 for exclusives. If I were to buy a PS5, I would buy it for something else than the exclusives, because the exclusives I can play on my PC. If I wanted a PS5, maybe, I don't know, I guess to be comfortable, maybe, I don't know. But I'm happy with my PC and my Switch at the moment. And you know, I don't have money for a PS5 either.
That's just not the case. The data is out there. Go look it up. Simple to find. Second of all, the games is what sells the platform and ecosystem. They're not.
Not really. Not really. Because if you have a console that has like really cool features that can also um, make people buy the console, like for example, um, I kinda like the PS5's features also. With the controller, it has DualSense and everything. Uh, and also Xbox has really cool features too, like backwards compatibility all the way back to the original Xbox. You could say that not every uh, game is supported, but at least I tried. Unlike Sony, you know, you can't play PS1, PS2, PS3 games from a disc. You need to either subscribe to PS Plus or buy those games digitally. Except for the PS3 games, because those are streamed always. Even though I know that the console is able to run those games, they are just lazy. Because I know that on PC a lot of PS3 games are playable without problem. Using RPCS free, by the way.
Not asking you to take a hit powerhouse wise. They're stating exclusives matter and exclusives draw you to said ecosystem.
Not really. Once again, do you think I bought this for the exclusive? Of course not. I bought this because I wanted to play all my games on the go. Although I could have bought a roguelike for that, and can regret that I didn't, because then all of my Steam library would could come with me. You know, this was a pretty nice choice too for a handheld device.
Simple as that. But Tom Warren upset again that it's not day and date. So trying to push back on
Who's
that. But
upset?
again, as we've seen from the Sony business reports, this is what all this is coming from. They're doing super well in the gaming division. They're doing extremely well. The best they've ever done in years, ever since ever. They are doing fantastic. Look it up. The stats are there. A lot of fanboys will try to state otherwise. Don't let the misinformation and FUD fool you. I'm not going to lie to you. If they were doing bad, I would announce. They are not doing so well. They probably need to shift focus, whatever the case is. I like to live in reality here, but I'm just posting facts and showing this nonsense.
Posting facts. Let's go on your channel, shall we? So far, I didn't hear you call out PlayStation for any bad moves, even though they had plenty of bad moves, and they were in bad situations also. But you only focus on the Xbox side.
Here, but again, Tom Warren doesn't have that much integrity, just like most of the other journalists out there, it seems. But, or at least the Xbox biased journalists there, it seems. There
PlayStation biased for you, by the way.
are some good ones out there, I do admit. So this isn't encompassing every journalist out there. Just unfortunately has to be a large portion of them. Now on to the Flat Earther post up. I've been calling day and date on the PC for PlayStation for a while now and was made fun of by the PlayStation community. 5 years or so ago, I stated that the gaming landscape in the next 5 or 10 years would force Microsoft and Sony to change their strategy, and here we are. So much for laughing and making fun of me and believing the traditional model would prevail over everything. So,
is he wrong though? The end date is happening for PC already, so what's the issue? What's the issue?
I know you're probably thinking the same thing. What is he talking about? Didn't we just get the announcement? This is hot off the heels.
You got the announcement, yeah, that your games are going day and date on PC if they are live service. They didn't flat out said, oh, none of our exclusives will go to PC. They said live service games are coming to PC day and date.
Of the announcement of everything that was given in the PlayStation business report in the little mini conference they had. Single player first party Sony games like Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, Horizon, and on and on and on are at this time still not going day and date with PC.
but live service games are coming to PC day and date. So your point, like, you realize that post-up isn't just talking about those single-player titles.
In the future, is that a possibility? Absolutely could be a possibility. I'm not a future teller. At this point in time, the sales and everything are doing fantastic. It's not in the near future that this is happening. Games as a service, like Helldivers 2, like Concord, like Marathon, any of that sort of stuff, yes, is going to go day and date on PC. That's a given. That's been stated. That's duh, right? Single player stuff is not being alluded to at this point in time. They make plenty of money by releasing it 1 to 2 years plus later on the PC platform, whether it be God of War, whether it be whatever, even though PC folks are up in arms about creating a PSN account, so that's another battle for them. I own a PlayStation. Don't know what to tell them.
Still, what's your point? But yeah, they are coming to PC day and date in the future. But Postaf wasn't talking about only the single player games. He was talking about exclusives in general, PlayStation games in general. And Concord coming to PC day and date, Marathon coming to PC day and date, and maybe Xbox too. MLB The Show is coming to Xbox and Switch day and date. Helldivers 2 came out on PC day and date. So it's not only the single player games that exist.
Don't know what to tell them. And I understand PSN is not available in all countries. I do, not know the answer to what to do there. You can't half make people sign up for an account and then the other half, because they don't have it, not sign up for an account. If it's preemptively told ahead of time, I don't know what to say there. I'll let y'all argue amongst yourselves there on that one. I'm not going to fight that battle again. Already a lot of the PC elitists like to come over and get all upset about that. That's for another video and another time again. However, post up, just not making any sense. Again, loves to spread that misinformation. And
where was the misinformation? I've been calling day and date on the PC. Should I list all the games again that are coming day and date to PC? Concord, Helldivers 2 already, Marathon.
And there you go. But speaking of PC, and we're going to get a lot of Alex the next video as well, but here's a small preview.
You know why he blocked me? I already mentioned it actually. He blocked me over the fact that I asked him for proof of fabricated stories.
Small example, because he lost his crap recently in regards to PlayStation not having its first party single player games coming out. So Alex, PC customers will move from PC to console. He puts in the quotes from Herman Holst or whatever. They haven't learned a single thing, and it's the funniest shit ever. What are they trying to learn?
That PC gamers will never move to PS5 if the games are coming to PC years later.
What? Where are they hurting, Alex? Where are they hurting? That's what I want to know. I'm sure you'll come up with some bullshit answer out of your ass.
Have you ever read the tweet? Or are you just trying to shift the goalpost?
But where are they hurting? We literally seen the conference. They're doing more than fine. They're doing more than fine with what they're doing. They do not need to do it. You have a little rebuttal that it's like, no, I didn't say Dane.
Okay, but they could be doing so much better. And okay, they are doing good now. Why would they do it? Why are they doing live service games then? And why are those games coming to PC then date? Well, I tell you, and I was too. Game then came then date on PC. 60% of the US players were on PC. So they made a lot of money on PC. They don't make a lot of money on PC when the games are not coming day and date to PC. So is that good logic?
Date right now. I didn't say it right now. A, keep your shirt on. There's kids watching. Second,
One, I've already posted that like very little of his audience are children, and I don't know why, because it's not for them, but it's their issue if they're watching him. Anyways, so well, that's his content. That's his content, and I like him for it because it's funny seeing the struggle he has at times with the chat.
what are you talking about? You're so upset that you were wrong yet again and again and again.
Was he though? He wasn't wrong. Day and date is happening on PC with the live service games. Helldivers 2, Concord, Marathon, free games.
Again and again, but you're not wrong. Out of your mouth, out of the words of your mouth, you're not ever wrong. A lot of
Well, that's not true. I know he's wrong at times, but I call him out on that also. Like when he was friends with Reforged Gaming, and we all knew that he was a PlayStation fanboy, and someone who doesn't like to listen to critics.
People went after you this week. They proved you wrong. You still live in your...
Nope, they didn't. They tried, but they didn't prove him wrong at all.
Bubble. You have your community protect you, but you were wrong. You continue to be wrong, and I find it to be...
And you blocked me because I asked you for proof. So no, I'm still waiting for those proofs, by the way.
Be the funniest shit ever. End quote. Let's keep going here. Kareem. This is going to be our final example here. It's been a minute since we had Kareem back here, but here we are. More delusion at its finest. I don't like Kareem, to be honest. Kareem stating PS1, 102 million. This is all in regards to sales, by the way. PS2, 160 million. PS3 and the PSP, 168 million. PS4, PS Vita, 132 million. PS5 and PS Portal, 61 million. Now, first and foremost, I do want to state I don't know where he's pulling these numbers from, if they're out of his ass or whatever the case is. I don't know. I don't trust him as far as I could throw him. And he's a pretty short guy, pretty light guy. I don't trust him either. Throw him pretty far, so but still not enough to where I would trust him. I don't know if
these are true.
That being said, grain of salt there with those numbers. Plus, they like to think that the PS Portal was a combination console. It's now been moved to the accessory accountability sales column, just an FYI. I gotta give it to Sony for still believing in their console and keeping it alive. Sad truth is a PlayStation console is dying out, as with the Xbox console. Will they be able to turn it around, or will PC console hybrid take over? Well, again, just as delusional as Alex, right? PlayStation is dying. Again, from the conference we just...
I mean, yeah, console gaming is pretty much dying. PlayStation, Xbox. I think maybe Nintendo still has a chance, but they aren't pushing the hardware nowadays. They are just making like unique consoles. Like starting with the Wii. The Wii was the first, or maybe well, it popularized motion controls, that's for sure. The Wii U had like a gamepad with a touch screen. I think well, I don't know if that inspired anyone. I don't think it inspired anyone, sadly. But then came the Switch, which I have, which was a unique concept because well, not really unique. It was done before by Sega, but it wasn't really replicated after that, and the Switch was really like a revolutionary console. I think most people bought it for its portability, like they could take it with them and play those games that they used to play on a home console, like I don't know, let's say Mortal Kombat. You can play it on this little device also, and I think This console was the inspiration for the Steam Deck, although I don't want to be wrong, but it definitely felt like it. And it basically popularized handheld gaming, like yeah, gaming, playing games that were previously only on uh, home consoles and uh, laptops or desktop PCs. They can be finally played on a handheld.
A scene, and this was created right around there, right after it. What is he talking about? He has no idea what he's talking about. Just because the Xbox's hardware as a console is dying and is in literally on life support at this point in time, as far as the shift in direction that they need to do and the changes they need to go with. Game Pass sales are stagnant, subscriptions are stagnant. We'll see what happens with Call of Duty, what that does, but they're basically on life support as far as being relevant
Yeah,
for hardware. They've transitioned so much, into Game Pass, as we all know, as I've gone over multiple times in previous videos. Why are you grouping PlayStation in with Xbox as far as a hardware when PlayStation is clearly succeeding where it needs to and doing
let me go back.
much, into Game Pass, as we all know, as I've gone over multiple times in previous videos. Why are you grouping PlayStation in with Xbox as far as a hardware when PlayStation
Because they are both part of the console market.
is clearly succeeding where it needs to and doing more than fine?
Yeah, but they also have like bad practices, and you know they are popularizing um, bad practices also, like $70 games. Uh, Before them, I don't think it was that popular, but after them, like Xbox also increased the price. Most of the games nowadays are $70 for some reason, and I think the only place where PlayStation games are not $70 is the PC, because it's 60 most of the time, but there are cheaper games also. I thought I heard something.
The only thing that's going to beat PlayStation is when Switch 2 comes out. The Switch 1 already decimated PlayStation in a lot of ways, and it's a hybrid handheld console, but it's not going to be a hybrid PC console. The Switch 2 won't, and it's still going to sell like hotcakes. That's just the fact of the matter.
Because
But
it's
yes,
unique.
let's group in PlayStation with Xbox, because if Xbox is failing in certain areas, in many areas, then PlayStation must as well. What are they going to do? PlayStation's in turmoil. Please give me
And I mean, if Xbox's strategy was failing, then why are Sony trying to? Why is Sony trying to copy them? Like Game Pass. In response to Game Pass, they made PlayStation Plus tiers, and I think it's The one on after Essential that that is like Game Pass in a way because it has a lot of games in that collection. Then after that you have the older games, but even then they are way more expensive than just getting a Game Pass uh, subscription. Uh, that's fun. Also, why would they port to PC then? If Sony's, Xbox is strategy, I can speak strategy is failing. Like they know that there's money in PC. There's a lot of money in PC, and Helldivers 2 also proved that if they could uh, release the game's day and date, then they would make even more money on PC.
A break. Go check out Colin Moriarty's last, podcast. Go check out his channel. He tells you all the data you need to know. He's good at dropping that. He's good about putting his end on things as well. He has all the facts there as well. This is another smart individual, and he's not the only one, but there's a lot of other smart individuals. But you have these idiots spreading FUD and grifting like crazy. Absolutely bonkers to me. But again, this is just a small taste. We have another video coming in a couple days here for you guys. Like I said, it's so much salt it can't even be contained. I cannot.
This wasn't even salt. Actually, did Alex finally upload his video? Damn it. Because if yes, then I'm going to watch it. Nope, not yet. So name EST. That's and that's not now. I will need to wait like some minutes. But this is not salt. This is not salt. It was just a few tweets that weren't even like about salty people, and it only it's only like by phone is at this point. At least the dislike ratio is not as big. Hmm. You know what? We're going to wait for Alex's upload of that new video, and then we're going to watch it. Until then, you know what? I'm going to play a bit of GTA San Andreas. I just need to launch it. plug my controller in.
Damn, what I do now?
Do all the fucking same, eh? I see it on television, I read it in books, I hear it in music. Do all the same. Fuck this, fuck that. Well, fuck you!
Baby, I'm sorry.
I gave to you as a woman. No! No more! From now on, we just business partners, okay?
Hey, if that's how you want it, but I mean, you breaking my heart.
I'm warning you. I'm in a really bad fucking mood. Today, I kill everybody who fucks with me. Especially you.
Especially you.
Move!
Okay. Oh, I forgot to turn on chaos mode. Hold on. There we go.
Tiny bald idiota!
Hey, what's poppin'?
Amen to that.
Prank caller, prank caller.
He's gone under. Do you know who you're fucking with here? Yeah. Who's got a death wish?
Yeah.
Don't know which one I
For sure.
need to go towards. Oh, this one. Okay.
You at?
Carl, get in the car. Cause I'm keen with the hygiene on a...
We need more men in here.
Hey, watch the car. I just got this baby detailed.
This guy is really getting on my fucking nerves. Hop in, CJ.
Carl, it's Woozy.
Yeah, so get the place locked down. No one's gonna ruin the hood. You hear me? No one. All right, see.
Now we so busy set.
Don't
Oh yeah.
No, I...
This one.
I hope you gonna respect me after this.
I'm gonna slice your... All over my... Can't you afford better clothes?
I love shooting people with the camera.
CJ, pull over.
Give me some covering fire.
Take, I seen your face, asshole.
Yeah, I don't know what. How I was going to say I would try to recruit members using keyboard.
Cranberry Station.
Mama, is that you? Worst place in the world. Look, Helena, girl, come on.
We haven't got our fucking day.
For now, let's just bask in the silence of victory, motherfucker.
Don't annoy me again.
Chill, homie, I ain't into that shit. You ain't never go catch me.
Yeah, I need to go there. Actually, no. Because Alex just uploaded his new video, so we're going to watch that, and you can see what the real salt is like.
Háború vagy béke? Ez a választás téma.
Shitty ass political ads. I hate them.
Oh, baby!
What is going on with these fanboys this week? You know what? It has to be Xbox's show on Sunday. This has been the most wild week for fanboys I've ever seen. But you know what? Let's get started, baby. Pow! That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Look, you almost had a third Dreamcast Guy fanboy video back to back.
At least I don't have to see the guy again.
But apparently, though, we're not going to do that because a little something crawled across my timeline yesterday.
Hallelujah.
And this one is honestly going to be ideal. You see, I decided not to put them on the thumbnail because I wanted to do a little experiment about all of this. And then on top of that, I didn't want to put them in the title either. But apparently, it turns out that our boy, our pal, our buddy, our friend, our confidant of the channel, Reforge Gaming, decided to put out a video talking about why PC gamers are going to move to the PS5 platform.
Are you fucking serious? Are you actually serious? Retard gaming?
I'm sorry, I almost just vomited a little bit in my mouth just. And when you hear what his logic is behind all of this about why a PC gamer would in fact move to a console that is more restrictive, has less games, makes you pay for online, and then pay more for games, you're going to fall out of your chair at the insanity of all of this. Because it turns out that instead of actually using proper logic or knowing anything about PC gaming in general, he takes a console view's perspective on this and then tries to apply it directly. We have had the last...
Yeah, that's not going to work because, you know, I'm a PC gamer. He is a PC gamer. We know what's the real deal. You know what's the real deal. Console guys don't.
Last 15 years of console fanboys doing this. It's not my first rodeo. In fact, I was taught by some of the best in the business on this. So that's right, baby. It's time. Reforge Gaming! Welcome back to the Foot Clan Dojo.
What is your #1 motivation for upgrading or changing your gaming setup?
It's money. Well, really, it's more like...
Yeah, it's money, sadly. And I don't have any.
Price to performance and how much money am I spending compared to how much more performance I'm getting in terms of being a PC gamer. But it's money. Yeah.
It's money. It's money, yeah.
For some, it's having the absolute best equipment. The latest and greatest video cards quickly find their way into your shopping cart and end up on your front porch. You gotta stay on the cutting edge, right?
And
not really. You know, a lot of graphics cards can pretty much do what needs to be done. Like I have a really shitty laptop, but I do my edits on a shitty laptop, and I see VTubers come to me and say that they love my edits. So, you know, it's not true that we need to have the latest and greatest.
Immediately, right in the first minute of this video, we are hearing exactly what his logic and argument is going to be. And I can call it from right now. His argument is going to be, well, X amount of people on Steam do not have a PC greater than the PS5 in terms of performance, therefore they should just buy a console instead. No. You see, because the PC offers far more value than just graphics and frame rate and stuff like that. You get far more from that actual open platform rather than just like, oh, the visuals are pretty and I have ray tracing. And to sit here and say you have to have the best in performance, right? No, that's totally incorrect. I don't have the best GPU on the market, but
Like I said, I don't have either. I have a really shitty laptop, and that's where I stream right now. Well, not right now. I have another laptop. This one is slightly better, maybe. And I sometimes use this laptop for like big edits because the other one is not so good at rendering stuff. But yeah, you don't have to have the latest and greatest.
Have the second best on the market because I felt that it was the best price to performance at that time. Not only that though, you don't always have to upgrade every single generation, and we're going to prove that later on in this video.
For others, it's all about those exclusive games. They have to play the latest Zelda, or they simply can't miss out on the next Spider-Man game.
If you live like that, I don't know how patient you can be, to be honest. And as for Zelda, I guess that you can play that on PC also if you emulate it. And yeah, I don't have a. I have a Switch, but I didn't buy it for Zelda. I bought it for any game that I can play on the go.
And here we go again with the same typical argument that we've heard for so often. Good old classic console peasant quotes. But we have exclusives. Well, you really don't. Like, the only actual console that has an exclusive is actually Nintendo. And even then, we can just emulate all of their games right now anyways without having to pay them. So in reality, there is no console exclusive anymore.
Sorry about these apps.
Because everything on PS5 is basically timed, everything on Xbox comes day and date, and everything on Nintendo we just emulate. So truly, if you want to talk about like exclusivity, basically PC has everything. Why would I go anywhere else?
But the more surprising part, according to some, is that Herman Hulst sees the big tentpole first-party narrative-driven games as a potential driver to PC users to come.
And he's wrong. He's wrong. Because why would I buy a PS5 for something that comes to PC already?
To the PlayStation platform. He called this a dual approach, one where live service hits day and date on PC, but then those tentpole titles, they are seen as the backbone of the PlayStation platform, and they're finding a new audience on PC, but they may have people interested in sequels enough to join the PlayStation platform. At least that's what they're hoping they see happen.
Now that's what they're hoping. They're hoping to get people to buy a PS5, but they won't make us buy. Yeah, they won't make us buy PS5 for those sequels, because those sequels also come to PC. Like we've seen with God of War Ragnarok and Horizon Forbidden West.
This is what's been so contentious about the entire thing, and why honestly PC gamers have been just laughing at this for the last couple of years, especially with the whole slate happening. If you're going to put the games onto PC, you're basically just nullifying the fact that I have to buy a console now. Even if I have to wait for a game, it doesn't matter. I will just wait for the game. That's the actual process about all of this. I don't have to spend $500. I can just wait for it to come to PC. And Sony being in fact more aggressive about putting games to PC, buying Nixus, using Jetpack Studios, and even a company like Iron Galaxy that sends shivers down my spine. It really just goes to show there's no real reason for a dedicated PC gamer to go out and buy a PlayStation 5 for $500 and then pay for online and then pay more for video games to play the sequel of a game that they already bought.
Yeah.
They'll just wait for the sequel. And you know what? We're going to touch more on that later, so don't you worry.
When looking at the various reports and stats about PC gamers, hardware, and PlayStation, it's important to remember we are really only asking the question, is there a percentage of users on PC that would be willing to buy a PlayStation 5 or a PS5 Pro after playing a PlayStation game on their PC?
I would see someone, but the chances are really low. So most of us are not going to buy a PS5 for something that we can play on PC.
And we're going to start with the most obvious way to ask and answer this question. Polls on Twitter. Now, obviously, this is not scientific, okay? We'll get into some more actual data in a moment, but there is, I think, something that can be learned from this. There is, I believe, a general willingness that we've seen from purchases that people might be motivated to then make a switch or upgrade. People that took this poll may not even have a PC, or they may already have a PS5, so it's not exact.
But polls on Twitter, they may have a bias, and you also might not get votes from the right people, you know.
Scientific.
Instead of like trying to use the Steam hardware survey like I expected you to do, we're going to go ahead and use a Twitter poll instead. And then trying to use the Twitter poll in your own content, not 10 seconds later, you admit it's not scientific, and that's basically just unusable data because it is literally just people trolling or posting whatever they feel like at that very moment in time when the rubber doesn't really meet the road, now does it? So we're using data that doesn't have any actual backing that anybody can vote on, that is basically just anything in the actual space, and then that's what you're going to use to prove your point that PC gamers are going to buy a console. Why would you even put any sort of thought or even any work onto this? This is like building a house on quicksand. You're literally just sitting there and saying, hey, here's what I'm going to use to prove my point, but also, real quick, the stuff I'm using to prove my point really isn't valid because there's no real reason to actually trust it because it's really just people just on Twitter, and so I'm just going to go ahead and use it anyways. Like, why would you even consider this to be an option?
That's really stupid to use Twitter polls. Like, if you actually use like actual data, you would have a point.
As a way for you to try, like, why would you even think this is the way to go, dude? What are we doing here, my guy? But hey, I want to see how you twist this. I really do.
Tom Warren from The Verge put out 2 different polls, and he was one of the gaming pundits who expressed a pretty good amount of skepticism about this strategy from PlayStation. So let's just start with the first poll. He asked a very simple question. He said, PC gamers, would you buy a PS5 to play a sequel of a PlayStation PC game or just wait it out? And at first glance, you're going to say, well, look, case closed. The overwhelming majority said no, right? But in my estimation, this isn't about the amount that said no. It's about the amount that said yes.
Imagine me facepalming right now.
Roughly 23% said that they would buy a PS5 to play a sequel. If that willingness is even remotely accurate, then the strategy from PlayStation is sound. It means that every time they sell a game like Spider-Man or God of War, the most recent port of Ghost of Tsushima, the sequel then stands a very decent chance of getting people to convert over or just buy a PlayStation 5 in general. If you sell 1 million copies of a game, this poll seems to indicate that over 200,000 people would be willing to buy a PS5 to play that game's sequel.
This is honestly a complete shit show of what is actually happening right now. How on earth can you...
There's something so satisfying about switching roles on the fly. I bring a lot to the party.
You sit there and say, oh, Don't look at the 77% of the 35,000 votes that happen on this poll. That's not the important number. The important number is going to be the 22.7% of people that voted on this 35,000 person poll to say these are the ones that are going to be buying the PS5. Therefore, since it's not zero and it's 22%, their strategy is sound. Are you fucking... Are you serious right now?
It's pretty retarded, yeah.
This is the move you're gonna do for this. If it was anywhere between like 50% or 55% or even 60% to 40%, you would possibly have a case. We are looking at 1/3 or even less than a third of the people voting in this poll will actually buy a PS5. And if you're looking at it from the total amount of people who voted, between 35,000 people, that's 8,000 people who would buy a PS5 out of the other 27,000 people who voted saying, no, I'm not going to do it. You are sitting here trying to skew data that can be lied upon via a Twitter poll as some sort of like W strategy for Sony. Because if it doesn't make any sense, bro. This is why people need to understand math, because he is literally skewing statistics in his own favor, trying to make them look as if it's going to be a W for a company, even though he doesn't have any investments in this company. People need to understand what statistics actually are, and having a 22% vote, basically being not the majority, in fact, far below the majority of voters in terms of like who's actually going to buy a PS5 based on a non-scientific, non-actually scrutinized Twitter poll of anybody that can vote on this thing, truly is the more insane part of all of this. Stop letting people like Reforge sit there and twist numbers in front of your face thinking that he's actually right when in reality he's completely incorrect.
And consider, in the absence of this strategy, if they were not doing this, that's a lot of people that would never really be given a reason to consider getting a PS5. You're basically touching and reaching an audience you wouldn't reach otherwise.
How is this PlayStation touching and reaching an audience they wouldn't reach otherwise by convincing them to buy a PS5? If you're sitting there saying, hey, we're going to put these games on the platform that you want to play on because we know you're not going to buy the console, then why would you sit there and say something so incredibly stupid as to say, oh, because we put the first game on there, they'll buy the console for the sequel? No! They'll just wait for the sequel to come to PC. Because if they always waited for the game to come to PC in the first place and they didn't buy your console, what makes you think they're going to buy your console after playing the first one? And then on top of that, the second you say that, the very next day, Ragnarok, the sequel to God of War 2018, gets announced for PC. So clearly, that strategy doesn't make any sense now, does it?
Yeah. I know when Spider-Man 2 was I think I'm not sure when it happened actually. No, I don't know when it was announced or when the gameplay was shown, but I knew that once they announced the first game and its spin-off Miles Morales, when they announced them to come to PC, I knew that at some point Spider-Man 2 is also going to PC, so why would I buy a PS5 for that game? I watch reviews on it maybe, and if the game is good, then I would buy the game on PC when it comes out. And well, now I'm skeptical because it's I think the sequel is worse than the first game, but it has some good stuff. Yeah. So I'm not sure if I want to buy it on PC when it releases, but we'll see. Also, yeah, sequels do come to PC also, like Horizon Forbidden West came to PC, and also God of War Ragnarok is also coming to PC. So why would I buy the games? I mean, why would I buy a PS5 for the sequels if they come to PC anyways?
But his second poll is even more telling because he broadens the question to be more about, well, would you be willing to buy a console for GTA 6? And he said the following. He said, PC gamers, would you buy a PS5 or Xbox Series X to play GTA 6 next year, or just wait it out for the PC release? And this poll is far more split, with 46% saying yes, they would be willing.
I'm not surprised that a multi-platform game from a third party would be more loved, or would make gamers buy console. Like not that a lot of people were waiting for GTA 6 ever since GTA 5 was announced, and not announced, released. They waited for how many years? 10 years. 10 years. And it was a sequel that no one believed was going to happen, because GTA 5 released on PS3, PS4, and then PS5, and people were like, oh, it's not going to happen. It's going to be like Half-Life 3. It's not going to happen ever. So of course, a lot of people would buy a console for GTA 6. But there are also more people that would just wait for the PC release. And you know why? It's because mods. Actually, I think GTA San Andreas and GTA 5 are the most popular ones, due to the fact you can find a lot of crazy mods for them, and you can play around with them and stuff like that. GTA San Andreas, for example, has how you call it, total conversion mods that would make the story different. Like for example, the most popular one was I think it was called like GTA Andreas or something like that. It was like a alien city type game. It had like a new map, new missions, even well, the voice acting, I don't think that was voice acting. I think that was just you know text to speech, but it did its job. It was in Russian though, so you needed to read the subtitles.
To buy a console to play GTA 6. And GTA 6 is primed to probably be the best-selling game of 2025, which could lead to a lot of PC users making the jump. Keep this in mind for later.
We are sitting here trying to stretch to any possible straw that we can by having to say something like, would you buy a console for Grand Theft Auto 6? You mean the game that everybody has been looking for the last 3 generations of consoles? The fact that it was released multiple times with multiple iterations on multiple consoles for that game to be out, while at the same time as one of the largest actual player bases for GTA RP on Twitch, and also is a continual top seller on Steam. You're going to use that as a way of saying, oh, well, you'd buy a console for GTA 6? Well, no shit, Sherlock. I want you to keep digging, Watson, because that game is an anomaly. That entire series of games is an anomaly. You cannot use one actual data point of one video game that is ubiquitous across the entire gaming landscape, that even casuals know about it, that they would in fact go and buy a console for that one game. Of course they would. Why wouldn't they? But trying to use GTA 6 as some sort of like major catalyst as to them buying a PlayStation 5, who's to say they wouldn't just buy it on Xbox? I know, crazy thought and idea. Kind of wild, right? Somebody buying an Xbox? Not on my watch. But even then, many PC gamers would do exactly what happened before. They would simply just they would. Why wouldn't they? But trying to use GTA 6 as some sort of like major catalyst as to them buying a PlayStation 5, who's to say they wouldn't just buy it on Xbox? I know, crazy thought and idea. Kind of wild, right? Somebody buying an Xbox? Not on my watch. But even then, many PC gamers would do exactly what happened before. They would simply just wait for the PC version because they know GTA RP will be there, mods will be there, and the community will in fact move to that game. They don't always have to go and sit there and be like, I'm going to play it on the console first. And again,
like he said, GTA RP is really popular. Like, you go on Twitch and you see a lot of people who have, like, search for GTA 5 on Twitch, and you see a lot of streams basically just about the GTA 5 RP portion, and yeah, that's really popular there, especially nowadays. It's no Pixar, and Onyx. So yeah, and also there are Hungarian RP servers also that I saw, but those are maybe those are only known for known in the Hungarian player base, not the international one.
And using a Twitter poll where anybody can just sit there and lie about it. And if you really want to break it down, the only way your previous Twitter poll would in fact make sense about buying a console
Csodálatos pillanatok ezek, kedves nézőink! Ezzel
a Bigivel közösen élhettek meg minden
would it be the actual numbers that you showed about GTA 6, buying a console for that, would have been similar to the actual setup of like, if you were a PC gamer, would you buy a PS5? If it was 60-40 or 55-45, then you could possibly say, okay, well, yeah, these numbers make sense, and that's the whole thing. But again, it's a Twitter poll, so you can't trust it because it's not real. It's not real, bro. How is this?
It's not really, yeah.
Why?
Now, building on this, we have to examine what percentage of the Steam user base actually has a PC.
So those votes may not be relevant because those people who want to buy a console for GTA 6 might not even buy a console for GTA 6. Either because of money issues or they just found another game to play, maybe.
Stronger than a PS5. I quickly added up the percentages on Steam Hardware Survey, and just with like crude rough estimation, I saw roughly 40% of the graphics cards were either 30 series NVIDIA cards or 40 series NVIDIA cards. Now, NVIDIA makes up the vast majority of the cards on this report, about 80%. And Tom's Hardware reported a very similar number to my crude estimation. There was like a 10% for the one and 28 for the other. Add those together, you get 38%. So that was very similar to my findings. Now, that doesn't mean that all of these cards are exactly stronger. So another user looked into this. Nib95 on Twitter went further. He used Tech Power Up GPU performance rankings to see which cards would be at least 10% stronger than the equivalent card of a PS5. And he found that approximately 25% of Steam PC users had a GPU that you could argue was tangibly stronger than a PS5. Now remember,
not that you can argue, they are actually stronger than the PS5. And I believe both has like AMD GPUs on both consoles, so even AMD GPUs for PC, there are some that are actually more stronger than PS5, and they are pretty cheap also.
These hardware reports on Steam, they're self-selecting, so people have to like opt in to like report this. Okay, not everybody does that.
There it is. Every single time. It's never like any logical thought or concept. First of all, we went and we put all the series cards together of NVIDIA, not signifying which cards are actually better or worse, just putting together as in which series was launched. And the crazy part is not every card is actually going to perform better in any series compared to the PS5 6700 GPU, which was of course confirmed by Digital Foundry. And some cards will perform on par, some will perform less, some will perform astronomically better. So sitting there and trying to put these numbers together really doesn't make any sense. And then, using Nib ChatGPT 95, the guy who sits there and has no fucking clue about PC gaming, who thinks that teraflops equate to actual real-world performance in PC hardware, is what you're going to use as a source to say that, oh, a 25% or 10% better. What the fuck are we doing here, bro? Like, you don't know shit about this. It is astronomically clear. You are completely incompetent and do not understand anything about PC hardware, and then you're also going to other PlayStation fanboys to then try and use them as a source to determine whether or not you'd be correct. Even so, it's the most ridiculous thing to even say. You do not need a GPU or a CPU performs better than a PS5 to be a PC gamer. You can have hardware that is far underperforming from a PS5 and still have all the benefits of being on PC. The problem is you are looking at this from a console gamer perspective. You are only thinking of, why don't you just upgrade and just spend more money on the higher end GPU, because not everybody has the ability to upgrade. That is why, because currency exchanges are insane. Tax and duty fees that come in, keep an eye on this for later, you're going to understand why, happen to every other kind of product. In fact, it doesn't happen to some PC graphics cards. However, though, currency exchanges do happen. So, this entire argument and concept of, well, your PC isn't stronger than a PS5 doesn't fucking matter, because that's not the point of the actual argument. The point is, people can have different kinds of hardware on PC with different configurations, and it doesn't need to be stronger than a PS5 to experience any of those PS5 games. And I'll show you why in just a moment.
This means roughly 2/3 of the Steam user base could be in that camp. That's roughly 87 million people that are on PCs that are weaker than a PS5. Now, if you think my estimation is just way too high, just if it's just half, right? If maybe 60 million people on Steam are on a rig where they just couldn't quite get as good of performance or the games didn't run as well, that's a lot of people. Even if you round it down, it's still a ton of people. It's a very big user base who could play a game like Ghost of Tsushima and they have to run it at mid to low settings, and then they're looking at performance of the sequel on the PlayStation 5 or maybe even the PlayStation 5 Pro. This isn't even considering the fact that there are lots of people in that number. They don't even have PCs strong enough to run some of these PlayStation ports. A good number of these people.
True, but to be honest, for me, the only games that don't run are ones that require DirectX 12. Even though I have the drivers for it now, it's still not good enough. So, but I am able to play like games that are for like PS4 and stuff like that. I just need to lower the resolution and they run just fine.
People don't even meet memory requirements, right?
Let's play a game, shall we? Let's pull up the actual minimum requirements to run video games posted by PlayStation, and we're gonna have some fun. Ghost of Tsushima, a GTX 960 and 8 gigs of RAM. God of War 2018, a GTX 960 and 8 gigs of RAM. Helldivers 2, a GTX 1050 Ti and 8 gigs of RAM. Horizon Forbidden West, the minimum requirement for RAM is 16 gigs. We bumped that up just one more to the actual minimum requirement most PC gamers suggest. And the GPU is a 1650. However, the 1650 is a 35% increase in terms of performance requirement needed to run this game from the 960. It is still far below the actual minimum requirement of what most people have on Steam, which is a 3060 or even a 1060 GPU. In fact, the 1060 6GB outclasses the 1650 by about 27%. Returnal, 16 gigs of RAM and a GTX 1060. Again, we are talking about multiple GPUs and multiple minimum requirements needed just to run the game that are far below what the actual performance specifications are for a PS5. If people can play video games off 9-year-old GPUs from PlayStation that they do not have to upgrade for, why on earth would they buy a PS5 when they can simply just upgrade their PC instead? It makes no logical sense to do so.
True.
If you are living in a place where there are more import taxes for consoles and you have to pay more money for online services and pay more money for games, why would you waste your time on a platform where you do not have enough video games to actually play from your backlog, and instead go ahead and just upgrade your PC to then play those games in the future in a much better state? You see how
It's pretty relatable for me because Hungary is known for making pretty much everything more expensive, a lot more expensive. Like I saw Rogue Ally for like really expensive prices, like at times even double the price that is listed for, I don't know, for the US.
like none of this makes any sense? You see how you're sitting there talking about like, we'll just get a PS5 instead? Why? I can just upgrade my PC instead and then have those games at a cheaper price, not pay for online. Do you see like You see how you do not understand this fucking market and you're just talking out of your ass consistently, and all you're saying are just things about like, just get a PS5 because you do not understand the PC marketplace or how things actually operate. You do not need a PC stronger or as strong to play PS5 games. I've proven that here. It's even on the actual Steam website. Congratulations. Once again, you've played yourself.
Now, when the sequel trailers to a game like this drop, and maybe it's PS5 Pro enhanced, that is targeting, according to the rumors, 4K 60, or even some of the modes that just have ray tracing are going to hit like 1440 60, according to the rumors and the leaks from notable insiders. That is an awful lot of people who could play Ghost of Tsushima, a game like it, or God of War, and then the sequel is getting better performance than they got in the first game. And honestly, we have stats to indicate that maybe people are already doing this. According to a recent report from Sony, they say the following. Nearly 30% of PS5's MAUs are users who never used a PS4. So with the spread of PS5, the acquisition of new users is progressing. Okay, you have to think about...
Draw your blades and venture forth in Final Fantasy XIV Online Dawn Trail.
Think about that. That's a good number. With PS5 nearing 60 million total units, that's almost 20 million people who bought a PlayStation 5 and they never used a PS4. They're a new user. Now, that could be a first-time console buyer. Maybe they're just finally deciding to buy a console. It could be folks who are not wanting their Xbox anymore, or maybe they're just adding it to their lineup. They have Xbox, but they're adding this. And maybe these are PC users.
Why would you even use this statistic? You're literally talking about monthly active users. You're not talking about who bought the console and who then became an actual customer of PlayStation. Anybody can be a monthly active user, especially now with Sony's complete lack of awareness on what they're doing with their actual PC ports. So you're going to have more monthly active users become PlayStation MAUs because they now require it to actually play their games on PC. Surprise! That's going to increase even more. And on top of that, it goes back to what you said before. It could have been Xbox fanboys who are jilted lovers from Xbox and Phil Spencer who decided to become PlayStation fanboys. I'm looking at you, Tim Dog, and Crap Gamer. It could have been anybody else with a Switch, and it could have been PC gamers too. It doesn't mean that this data is actually viable to your point. It is merely just simply a point. It doesn't mean that it connects to a line. You are trying to grasp at straws and connect anything you possibly can to try and say, oh, PlayStation is smart, I'm behind PlayStation, they're doing the right thing. Not even realizing there are so many other factors behind this and so many other ways that this information can be skewed that you are just twisting everything to some sort of weird way to try and go ahead and prove a point that really shouldn't even be made in the first place.
I even think there's a clue that some of these people could be PC users if you look at how well God of War Ragnarok sold. From that very same report, on the very next page, it says, in terms of software for PlayStation, the new title God of War Ragnarok recorded sales of more than 11 million copies in the first 10 weeks after its release on November 9, making it the fastest selling first-party title ever. And we...
But I don't think that's from... that's because of PC users, because God of War is a really popular franchise, and the first game actually won game of the year that year, so I think it's expected that they that the sequel would will get even more players. Yes. So yeah, and I think it almost won Game of the Year again, but Elden was just too good of a game.
We know Spider-Man 2 recently also hit 11 million copies sold as well. It seems like there's some correlating data points here. A third of the people on PlayStation 5 didn't have a PS4, and two sequels that had their first games ported to PC have sold incredibly well, even one fast.
Okay, but Spider-Man was also really popular on PS4, so a lot of people already wanted to play the sequel, or word of mouth, and some people just wanted to play the sequel because they heard the first game was pretty good, so the sequel might be also pretty good. So yeah.
Than their predecessors. Even Horizon Forbidden West has now been credited without selling the first game. That's another sequel that had its first game ported to PC.
And
here's what I love about this actual point that he's making. He's talking about Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, and Spider-Man 2, saying, oh, well, it's obvious PC gamers are going out and buying PlayStations for these games, right? I mean, there's no other way. They had the game first, and then the PS5 came out, and then they were like, oh, let me just buy the console. What? Where are you getting it? Because a game sold well, not even realizing that all three of these games were all pack-ins for the PS5. All three of these games were pack-ins.
Yeah, this is true also. I actually haven't thought of that. So thanks for bringing this up. But yeah, if there's a bundle, there are sales. So if you buy a console, that's automatically sale for the game is bundled with. So yeah, that is also true. But I also think that word of mouth also might be one of the reasons why it sold even better, when they sold even better.
Games for the PS5. That means there are people, of course, who were on PC who were like, just get the console anyways, I don't care, it comes with the pack-in. Sure, that absolutely happened. But that clue does not mean that it was the majority of PC gamers doing this. It could have been anybody who was just getting into gaming right now, especially because all of these games were very popular among the zeitgeist, and PlayStation was, of course, promoting those games very heavily because of it. Every single time someone buys an actual console, it doesn't mean that they used to be a PC gamer. It just means that they just wanted to buy the console. You're trying to correlate these two things as if they're connected, but they're not. Someone buying a console doesn't mean that they used to be a PC gamer, and someone buying the first game of a series on PC, it doesn't mean that they're going to go off and go ahead and buy the console because of it, because they're clearly just going to say, I'll just wait for the sequel because it's already going to come out. It's pretty much set. They said the whole slate. Here it comes. It does.
Pizza Twisters a KFC-ben.
Always the unskippable ads.
Doesn't really matter. You're just trying to connect points together that have no actual evidence of them being connected together, and you're just trying to make a statement as if you're going to be correct, when in reality, there is no evidence to prove that these are PC gamers doing this. I can say, well, it's probably just Xbox gamers who got tired of Phil Spencer's lies, and they're the ones buying these PlayStations and buying all these games. I could say that, right? Because there's no evidence to prove anything else. So we're just making shit up in thin air. That's how we're doing this now.
Yeah, like there's like no evidence, but there are also Xbox fanboys who bought the PS5 and sold their Xbox Series X, and now they became port beggars, because I've seen a tweet about apparently Bethesda having big plans for Starfield, and one of the Xbox who became a PlayStation fanboy tweeted, oh, they're going to release it on PS5. And I was like, no, I don't think so. I know that you already miss the game you can't play anymore, but it's not. I don't think it's going to happen. If it's going to happen, then okay, I'm okay with that. But no, I don't think so, because for now I think Xbox is just experimenting with ports of their older or smaller or live service games.
Now, oh!
It's hard to say that none of those people are PC ports, that this many people are now buying PlayStation 5 who weren't on PS4 before, and we're seeing correlating data in the sequels of those games selling incredibly well. Just in my own limited sampling within my own community that sort of hangs out on the channel or in my Discord, I know of 5 people who got a PS5 because they wanted to play a sequel of a game they played on their PC. One of these people, another who hasn't done this yet, they're actually planning to get the PlayStation 5 Pro when it comes out. And according to another report, due to PS5 penetration and the popularity of Helldivers 2 and Fortnite, the MAU of PlayStation has grown 9% year over year to 118 million accounts in March. So, PlayStation's growing its user base. That's what this is about. And if this strategy is paying off, there's one more thing to consider. Why is PlayStation now requiring PSN accounts for their PC ports?
So now we're talking about vastly different things. Now
yeah. I don't know why we're bringing up PSN accounts now. When this is not what it's about. It is about PS5 games coming to PC, and somehow that entices people to buy a console, which doesn't make sense anyways. But it's weird that now we're talking about PSN accounts. It doesn't even belong in this conversation.
Instead of actually using the data that you provided before, that Sony put out the 30% increase of actual MAUs because of people that didn't have a PS4 before, now we're talking about, well, in my community and in my Discord, 5 people bought PS5s and one guy's gonna get a Pro, so clearly it's working. No, it's not. You cannot use anecdotal data like this and present it as some sort of like factual information. It doesn't mean anything is working. If PlayStation wants to increase their monthly active users, they're simply doing it right now. I do not need to buy a PS5 to be a monthly active user for PlayStation. I am now required to go ahead and sign in to play their games. They did it with Helldivers, and they're doing it again with Ghost of Tsushima and God of War Ragnarok and Until Dawn. So now I do not need to go ahead and do this. I don't have to spend $500. I can simply just go and be an MAU because I simply sign on to the network to get trophies.
Now, very quickly before giving you my conclusion, the recent dust-up over requiring PSN logins for PC ports has gone through a variety of stages. First, they had it turned off in Helldivers 2 for 3 months, and then they were going to turn it back on. And this turned into a fiasco. The game was review bombed, and PlayStation walked back the requirement, but now that game is not being sold in those regions who can't get a PSN. This led to Ghost of Tsushima announcing that you would need a PSN for the Legends multiplayer mode, but not for the main campaign, and Ghost of Tsushima was also then limited and not sold in those regions.
Which I don't get why, because the single player portion you can play without the PSN account. So automatically you could be able to play those games in those countries where PSN isn't available. And also I don't get why Ragnarok and Until Dawn requires PSN, because why require it? Like if it's optional, I get it, but also they are both single player games. There's no like multiplayer portion of those games.
Now this leads to the most recent development. God of War Ragnarok, a completely single-player game, will require you to link your Steam account with the PSN, and that means the game is also not being sold in those regions. Now keep in mind, they didn't do this for the first God of War when it was brought to PC. Now I have expressed why I think this is backwards and unhelpful. I've even called this stupid, because I don't like seeing consumers blocked from purchasing games that I think are so good. Ghost of Tsushima is one of my all-time favorite games. God of War Ragnarok was my personal favorite that year that it came out. I thought it was wonderful.
By the way.
But I think I probably don't matter very much to PlayStation. Like, if I give my opinion on this, they're probably like, listen, man, we don't care that you're upset about this. They are trying to grow their MAU as well as get folks to switch. Remember all those numbers, all those data points we looked at. If they can get a percentage of those people to make and link a PSN account every time they drop a big game on PC, they're just increasing the likelihood of those people buying a PlayStation 5.
Look, how do you go from W to L in less than a few minutes? It's really shocking to me. If you have the ability to say, hey, PlayStation, you're doing something stupid by requiring a PSN login, especially for single-player games, you know it's not going to go over well, and you're restricting the amount of sales you're making because of it, that is a stupid thing. And yeah, PlayStation doesn't actually care about any of us. It's absolutely true. Look what they're doing with the PSVR 2. However, though, what you're saying doesn't...
I actually made a video yesterday, I think. So apparently, because PSVR 2 didn't sell well for PlayStation 5, they want to like regain the costs and stuff with releasing a PC adapter, but that PC adapter is pretty shit because you cannot use the unique features of the PSVR 2 for PC VR titles. And there are like a lot of headsets, even like budget, low budget headsets, like the Meta Quest 3, that have the features that PS VR 2 has, but the PSVR 2 also has like a lot of other features like OLED screen and stuff like that, like headset feedback, which I don't think any other headset has. And even though that feature is not in it's not supported on PC for some reason. I don't know why. They could have had an ECW.
make any logical sense, because if I already have a PSN login, I mostly play on PC, I'm already a monthly active user of PlayStation's network, so I'm already being counted as that increase you talked about before in that previous data point. I do not have to buy a console to get those benefits of PSN. I now get trophy support, I now get crossplay, I now get all the other benefits that I have without having to pay for the.
Ne feledjétek, június 6-án kezdődik a Joy napok a nyár legforróbb kedvezményeivel.
For the actual PlayStation Network or getting online services, I get that for free. On top of that, I get the game cheaper as well. So I log into PSN, I become a monthly active user, I get the game cheaper, I have free online, I have the ability to crossplay with all my friends who are on console. Why on earth would I buy a PS5 if I have all the benefits of the PlayStation console without having to have all the payments of the PlayStation console?
Yeah, because on PS5 you have to pay for online. You have to pay $70, and yeah, you're just paying more. While on PC, all those games are like $10 less, and you get free online. And also trophy support, like you said, crossplay. So it's not worth it.
Waving around an exclusive or waving around you gotta wait a year isn't gonna be the way for me to go ahead and buy a PS5. Again, you are talking to the most petty of petty in terms of actual communities and customers. You are not talking to console fanboys who basically don't have another choice in the matter of where they can buy their actual games. This is where you are missing the mark completely, and you do not understand the actual logic of what is happening. Again, if I do not need a PlayStation 5 to play these games, why would I go buy one?
They already have an account. They already have trophies. They have tracked playtime. They are subversively getting PC users invested in an ecosystem that they may want to join in the future. And honestly, I think this points at PlayStation having a vested interest in creating their own launcher, so then you could have potentially cross-ownership, and another reason to make the switch or just to add PlayStation 5 to your gaming setup. Remember, all those people that have gaming rigs that aren't that strong would see this as pretty compelling. And all of this leads to my conclusion on the matter.
If you think PlayStation is going to succeed with their own launcher, you have to be high. You have to be astronomically high, because there's no way you think it's going to be successful on the open PC platform. Why would anybody who's already invested in Steam, where they are already putting all their games onto Steam, where you already have the PSN account login, where you already have everything vested together on the open platform of Steam's marketplace, why would anybody then all of a sudden shift away from Steam to go buy their games onto Sony's launcher?
Like, I think the PlayStation launcher will happen, but I know that a lot of people will stay on Steam, because basically every game is on Steam, and the ones that are on different stores, launchers, like the EA Desktop, Ubisoft Connect, Battle.net, even GOG games, but at least GOG isn't platform, I guess, that you need to link to Steam. Sadly, that's a problem with the other launchers, because for some reason they want you to link your account to play the other uh, like play EA games, Rockstar games, Ubisoft games, Activision games. Like even Xbox games have like a Microsoft account requirement, which I don't like, man, because why would I log into another account? I log into Steam already. Why would I have to log into an EA account, or a Microsoft account, or a Ubisoft account, or a Rockstar account, or any other account other than Steam?
Didn't another company try that? I'm sure somebody else tried that, and they did it with like all these exclusives that they bought out, and they held them
Epic
ransom
Games,
for
yeah,
a year
Epic
plus
Games.
on the PC platform. And God, I can't put my finger on which one did it. You know, it's almost like somebody tried that exact same thing and it's failed miserably the entire time and hasn't been successful. In fact, it's failed so badly that the only reason people actually download it is just for Fortnite or getting a free game. And in fact, it's such a failure on top of that that people actually celebrate the game leaving the Epic Games Store when it hits Steam as its final 1.0 release, like, oh, it's finally on PC. The fact that you have not thought about this through whatsoever proves to me that you have no logic or skin in this game. You do not understand the PC market.
Heavy Tools, a magyar olimpiai és paralimpiai csapat hivatalos támogatója.
Próbáld ki most a Foodórát. Válogassa a város legmenőbb éttermeinek kínálatából, és első rendelésed mellé 4
marketplace, you have no clue what you are dealing with in the first place. You are clearly not a PC gamer. That is why you're talking in this perspective. That is why you are failing in this perspective. That is why your logic is absolutely flawed, and you continue to make a fool of yourself every time you speak on this topic. But hey, go ahead, Sony, make your own launcher. Go from some sales to no sales and see what happens.
I do not think this is a matter of if this plan is working, the one outlined by Herman Holst. I think this plan already is working. We have very clear data points that show both a majority of the PC user base is in a prime situation to do what would essentially be an upgrade for $500 to the PS5. And if the PS5 Pro hits, and it hits any of the
It's not working. It's not working. Even if like a few PC users would buy the console, it's the majority of the gamers are not going to suddenly move to a platform that is inferior, even if they have a PC that isn't strong enough for a PS5. I have two pretty shit laptops and I can run games at low resolution at best if they are like current gen or last gen. So it's not going to make me buy PS5. Something else would need to be provided.
targets that we're hearing about from the leaks, then a $600 price point will feel like a bargain to anybody who's on a mid to low end PC if they're looking into upgrading their computer.
Again, you do not understand how conversion rates, duty fees, and import taxes work. $500 to us is not $500 to every other country. It is astronomically more expensive to get a PS5 almost everywhere else. You simply do not get this. You are looking at it from just a narrow perspective and simply just the US or North America and Canada and some of Europe. You do not, bro. Oh, dude, it's like talking to a wall. It's like talking to a wall. He thinks he's right, and then he's just posturing himself as if he knows he's right, and he has no clue because he has no other thought process besides just this small, narrow scope of the world. This is why everybody got so angry about not being able to play a video game in 180 other countries because they can't log in. If 180 other countries can't log in, what makes you think they're going to buy a PlayStation 5? That's stupid. Stupid. Stupid.
PlayStation isn't targeting high-end PC users because they aren't even a majority of the gaming PC community anyway. They will gladly take your money, as their PC ports have mostly been receiving high marks and praise from both the tech outlets as well as the PC user base. Even in recent years, gamers have shown a willingness to not just pre-order games, but to buy the more expensive edition for early access. Well, imagine not just paying
Idiots,
for 2 years.
in my opinion. Because you're not getting that many good stuff from buying more expensive version, except if you play with Tarkov, but we all know that that's a scam. That's a scam. Most you get from spending more is cosmetic or perks, like perks that make the game easier for you. Which is I don't know who came up with those, but they were stupid to come up with that idea to like make you pay more for something that makes your gameplay easier.
Years of early access to a game instead of waiting, but the performance of this device that you're buying would be better than the current PC that you have. In my estimation, two things hitting the market are really going to help this strategy get more traction, and they may end up being tag team partners. The first is the PS5 Pro, which I'm on record saying I believe it will be market disruptive because of how it will appeal to developers, but I also think with regard to this PC gamer strategy, it could prove to be very potent. And the second thing, as previously mentioned in the Twitter poll,
Awaken to a world of wonder in Final Fantasy XIV Online.
More ads on YouTube.
GTA 6 will see a lot of PC users making the jump, and the PS5 Pro may be standing there, arms wide open, as the best place to play the most popular game of 2025.
So now we've moved the goalpost again. Now it's no longer, instead of upgrading your PC and then doing that and having your entire library there since you've had it for years and just upgrade the parts you have and that way you have a better experience overall. Instead, you think people are going to go out and buy a console where they don't have a library, where they aren't able to play all of their games for basically just 1 or 2 games, not realizing that if that was the case, they would have already bought a PlayStation 5 to begin with. Then we moved it again to going ahead and saying, well, the PS5 Pro, which is simply a rumor, which has no actual effective date or announcement, is going to be there when GTA 6 comes out, thinking that GTA 6 is going to be PS5 Pro enhanced at the same time, while all of this is all speculation and you don't have any actual evidence trying to go ahead and point to a Twitter poll saying that, oh, because of this Twitter poll that people talked about that anybody can just vote on, that it could just lie on the actual poll, we have a lot of PC gamers that are going to buy a PS5 Pro that hasn't been announced for a game that hasn't been set to actually work on the PS5 Pro to go ahead and play that game for a year instead of just waiting the 1 year in order to play that game on the PC platform, which is where they want to play most of their games. Again, how long did people wait to buy Kingdom Hearts 3 when it's...
Yeah, that's true too. And yeah, I'm tired of these phonies hyping up the non-existent PS5 Pro, because you know what it feels like? It kind of feels like when Nintendo Switch Pro was hyped up, and when there was an announcement, it turned out to be the Nintendo Switch OLED, which I think the only differences that it had was the more adjustable kickstand, the fact that you can put plug in an internet port to the dock, and also the OLED screen, and it costed more than the normal Switch just for that. And the hardware stayed the same. So I just don't believe in later iterations of a console. Even if it happened, I remember the PS4 Pro. To be honest, the PS5 wasn't so interesting to me, because the PS4 Pro existed already, and the jump from the PS4 Pro and 5 were so little that I actually didn't see it. Only when I saw that it could do 60 FPS, but other than that I didn't see that much of a change. Now if the PS4 Pro didn't exist, I would say that yes, there was a big leap, but since the Pro existed, there wasn't, and that's what I disliked, because it PS5 felt like PS4 Pro 2.0, except it has exclusives now that are coming to PC anyways, but you know what I mean.
It's on the same exact platform, but a different login. You think they're going to spend $500 to do that? Clown?
So yes, there are a good amount of PC users that will just wait. But from my own research and looking at the data, there are an equal amount of gamers out there in a position on PC that may see switching as not just switching, but as an upgrade, as a great addition to their gaming setup.
I can't.
Upgrade? upgrade to a more limited ecosystem. An upgrade. I'm just making shit up.
I can't. Why would someone buy a console?
Vectra 3D. Egy doboz, 3 hónap védelem szúnyogok, kullancsok, bolhák és legyek ellen.
Maradékmentő ötletek a Maggitól. Inspirálódj és adj új esélyt a hűtőben vagy a kamrában marad.
Soul to upgrade when they can just upgrade their PC.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. Oh my God. Oh my God. We've talked about all of this already. You do not need PS5 specs to play PS5 games on PC. You do not have to buy a PS5 to actually have an upgrade for your PC to play that instead. You're literally just sitting here unknowingly figuring out that, hey, PC gamers aren't console gamers. That's what Sony is not figuring out. That's what you clearly do not understand because you are not a PC gamer. You are simply a console fanboy. That's what you are, that's what you always have been, and that's how you're looking at this from that perspective. If you knew anything about the PC culture or PC landscape, you would realize, hey, they're not ones to fuck with. So,
and that's why I think like I feel like when I play on the Switch, I feel a lot more limited. Like, and I have a model that I can't even hack. Okay. Sorry about that. For some reason my internet connection had some problems. So I was saying that so I feel a lot more limited with this, and I still like this console, by the way, because like I said, I can take it with me and play some games I own. But yeah, one of the reasons I want Rogue Ally because I just no, I don't want to be limited, and I want to play a lot of games on this.
why are you sitting here saying it's a good idea to restrict process and access to video games when clearly PC gamers don't want to make a login for a different launcher? Why would they spend $500 for a video game instead? Why? Because the graphics are prettier? They would have just upgraded their PC. How do you not... Wow! Look, ladies and gentlemen, I know this is a hell of a video, right? But I had to get this off my chest. We have seen this all week from these fanboys celebrating because Day and Date was not announced for the actual PC from PlayStation games. Fine. It doesn't mean we're not going to wait. We've waited since, what, PS4 to get their games onto PC, and then we're going to wait even further to make sure that they play right and are actually optimized for our platform. That's how it is. That's how it's going to be. We're a bunch of petty bitches, and I love it. That's how we behave. And it's going to continue to be that way. That's why we don't pay for online. That's why we have free mods. That's why we have crossplay. That's why we have all these other features that you guys have to pay for. We get it for free because we act like petty, stuck-up Becky bitches every single time something doesn't go our way. And that's what you guys do not get. Oh, you didn't get Day and Date. We still get your video games. Understand this. We may not get them the day they come out on console. We get them a year later. They play better. They're cheaper. They're easily accessible. And we don't have to pay for the online service. And we get trophies. And we get crossplay. And we get cross progression. And all these other features that you don't get for free, we do.
Yes, also we have some games that are coming day and date, but those are nice service games. But they still count, in my opinion.
Waiting a year does nothing when we have a backlog of games and a massive library of games to actually play before these games come out on our platform. That's what you don't understand, and that's why every time you guys open your mouths about this, you sound like actual fucking clowns. So ladies and gentlemen, I know this was a long one. I'm exhausted.
Thank you for the video. Thank you for showing me an example of what actual salt is. And I'm going to end the stream now. Hopefully my internet connection will shut down again. Not shut down, like disconnect. I don't know why it disconnected before. But anyways, thank you for watching. I don't know when I'm going to stream next, but when I do, I want to continue GTA San Andreas with Chaos Mode and Rainbow Mazer, and hopefully move on from that mission. Where I need to recruit members. I think I do that with keyboard and mouse because I don't know what controls what the controls are for controller. So yeah, I'll see you guys later then.